Hello, welcome back to Verbal Tea. I'm Globe, your host. And if this is your first time, I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you stay after I say what I am about to say. This may be taboo to say in the self-improvement world, but it is my truth. It might change how you view me, but it's my truth and I want to get it out there, and I promise it has a purpose. The classical way of meditating, the popular way of Rafiki sitting down, closing his eyes, crossing your legs, listening to your breathing, focusing on your posture, and doing that for X amount of minutes. It's not my cup of tea. It's not. And you might think that that's because I have a chaotic mind. One can argue that my mind is nonstop. But I don't really get anything out of it. I don't. And some of it is you shouldn't come in with an expectation. So people will tell you that. I've heard that, you guys. But when it comes to centering myself, that's just not my way of doing things. But it is important to center yourself. And that is what I'm going to cover with you guys this month. I'm so excited to get into it. This is a Verbal Tea. Hey, welcome back to Verbal Tea, the journaling podcast, where we focus more on our own inner thoughts and voices than the voices of those around us. This month, we are covering creative expression. Creative expression is my form of meditation, you guys. A lot of research, a lot of beliefs and cultural and ancient practices revolve around this idea that we work from the inside out, that we carry our feelings within us, that they can take a toll on our body. They can do wonderful things for our bodies, like miracles, and they can do awful things to our bodies, like ailments, illnesses, and just general issues. Some people think that, fat lives in the stomach. When you close your eyes and envision what it's like to feel stressed, you can feel it. You can feel it in your body. It's not just up here. So, with that, it's only natural that we need to find a healthy way to get our feelings out so that they don't consume us, right? Well, creative expression is honestly my favorite way to do that. And that can be for a lot of reasons. Journaling was my very first way of getting my feelings out. And that is why I have a journaling podcast now. I've always been known as the emotional one in the family, the one that talks a lot. It's why I have a podcast now. And I had so many feelings where it didn't really seem safe to express them. I didn't want to continue to annoy my parents. And so some of my first memories are of me writing in little notebooks before I even knew to put spaces between my words. So I had no former spelling classes or anything like that, but I was journaling. I had to get it out. And then I learned how to rhyme. Once I learned how to rhyme, a whole new world opened up for me. I fell in love with poetry. Now, I will never claim to be a good poet, you guys. My poetry is personal. It is for me and has always been for me. What I discovered is I would journal and talk about my feelings, and all of a sudden I would start writing verses. And when that verse was complete, it was so gratifying. I discovered that it was so gratifying for me, so satisfying, and just I felt this huge release like I never did before. Because now, instead of just me getting my feelings on paper, I had a project. I had created something with those feelings, and nothing beats that. To this day, that is still my favorite way to get my feelings out. Talking to someone is important. There is active meditation that I do like that can help you. But creating something beautiful with your feelings, it just, it hits. And I mean, that's why we love music. That's why we love art so much because people are sharing their feelings, whether they're fantasies, whether it's sorrow, whether it's joy. They're sharing something that was within them, that was inside them, and they're sharing that with us, and we connect with it. When you guys see a struggling rapper, like if you see a picture of a rapper and it looks like he's been struggling, like patchy beards, scruffy shirt, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Then a fire album's gonna come out, right? They're gonna drop a fire album soon. If they are part of some scandal and they're on the rebound, we are expecting some of their best work. And very often, they live up to that expectation. There is just something magical about putting your passion and all those feelings that are within you into something creative. And it could be a regular practice. People think journaling is just chronicling your feelings or writing your goals, and it can just be that if you want. But it can also be creating things. I would argue that creative expression is a form of journaling. When you observe someone's art or you talk about your own art, you often talk about the environment and the circumstances surrounding the time that you created it. So it's almost like its own portal to that time, to those feelings, to those people, to that circumstance or event. It takes you right back there. And I think that's a beautiful thing. April is National Poetry Month, so it gave me the excuse to talk about one of my favorite art forms. This month, we will be talking to 3 amazing poets, and they have written very vulnerable, honest, dynamic journal entries about their relationship with art, creative expression, and poetry. And I am so excited to get into it with you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this little personal snippet of my thoughts on creative expression. If you want to journal with us, some questions that you can write down for yourself are: what is your favorite form of creative expression? When was the last time you expressed yourself creatively? And who is your favorite artist right now, or your favorite piece of art right now, and why? Go ahead, meditate. Meditate on those, focus on those. And if there is anything that you want to share that you've written in those entries, please share them at verbalteaparty@gmail.com, and I'll highlight your voice and share them for you. In the meantime, follow us at Verbal Tea Time on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we are now streaming on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. So you can follow us there and leave a review on how you felt about this episode and how you feel about the podcast. Come join the tea party. I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your week. Until then.